everybody. So today we are going to be talking about a major planetary energetic shift that will be taking place in about 5 weeks. Or I guess that depends on when you watch this video, but about 5 weeks from when I'm filming this. It's something that everybody and their fucking mother is talking about. So I figured I'd jump on the bandwagon too. But to be fair, this is a big deal. So, I mean, this does deserve to be talked about on its own on this channel. And this probably will not be the only time that I talk about this because it's a long transit. I am talking about Pluto moving into Aquarius. Before I get into that though, I did want to make a comment about something real fast, just real fast. If you're wanting to, I do try to make these videos as a way for people to learn, but I'm not the kind of person that wants to force feed cookie cutter definitions down your throat. I want to encourage people to think for themselves and to apply this stuff themselves. If you are looking for someone to tell you that this planet in this house, in this sign, always means this, or if you are looking for somebody to be like, this planet squared this planet always means this, or you want me to get to the point without explaining why I might read something a certain way, whether that is a fucking planet, a fucking asteroid, a fucking whatever. If you're just wanting me to get to the point because, I don't know, you don't want to have to think for yourself, I'm not really sure, I'm not the bitch for you. I'll say that straight out. If you want somebody to help you learn, that wants to encourage you to apply this stuff yourself, obviously in a way that makes sense, but apply it yourself. I don't want to force feed any of this stuff down your throat and be like, this is the only way that you do this. And that's a problem in the in the astrological community. It's a fucking problem. There are too many astrologers that are like, this is the only way you can do this. Fuck off. Like, for real. Fuck off. You got to take the whole chart into account. And just because, you can read cookie cutter definitions online of different things, different, aspects between planets, whatever. But if you only go with those and you don't look at the whole thing and you don't apply the knowledge yourself, you'll be missing something. So again, if you're looking for me to be like, this is what this means, not explain why I'm saying that, or, so you don't think I just pulled it out of my ass, or or I'm gonna be like, oh, this is the only way that you can do this, and you want to learn from somebody like that. We're all different. If you're looking for somebody like that, then again, I'm not the bitch for you. Yeah, anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there, make it very clear what people should expect here. I do absolutely encourage independent thought about this kind of stuff. I encourage assimilating the information yourself, assimilating the chart yourself. Yeah, I encourage all of those things. Free thinking, free thought, absolutely. Anyway, so Pluto will be moving into Aquarius for the first time on March 24th of 2023. And it'll stay at 0 degrees Aquarius. It won't move away from 0 degrees Aquarius. It'll stay there through June 12th of 2023. Then it'll move back into Capricorn. And then in 2024, it'll move forward again into Aquarius. And in 2024, it'll also move back into Capricorn. And then in 2025, it will settle into Aquarius for good through 2043. So it's a long motherfucker. Like, it's a long fucking transit. And Pluto's period of time in a sign is not always the same length of time. It really does depend on the sign that we're talking about. Like, Pluto was not in Scorpio very long at all. What was it, like 9 years, 10 years? It wasn't long. It wasn't long at all. This is much longer. So yeah, it does kind of depend on the sign that it's in, but this is a long one. Pluto will be in Aquarius for a while. And so this is the first pass into Aquarius. So we're going to start kind of getting a taste of this year and next year. But these are what I would consider to be transitional years. Meaning I kind of feel like things are going to feel like the next couple of years through 2025. Specifically in regards to things like Pluto wants to express and how Aquarius energy expresses itself. So I guess I mentioned that because it's like people talk about, I've seen people talk about Pluto moving into Aquarius and blah, 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 blah. And it's not going to, I mean, while it is going to move into Aquarius the first time this year, it's not going to settle there. So it's not totally firm yet, if that makes sense. It hasn't totally settled in. So while we'll start feeling that this year, we probably won't really feel Pluto in Aquarius until 2025, until it no longer, moves back into Capricorn. Anybody that, well, actually, before I go into that, let's talk about what Pluto wants to express, because the planet is what energy wants to be expressed or wants to express itself. The sign is how that energy is expressed, or how that energy expresses itself. I'm not going to talk about houses here because I'm not looking at a chart. It's literally just the energy with Pluto moving into Aquarius. So Pluto wants to express, needs to express, whatever, or expresses. We're talking about things like power. We're talking about control. We're talking about obsessions and compulsions. We're talking about intensity. We're talking about depth of emotion. Pluto is incredibly deep emotionally. It's also secretive and hidden. So we could also be, it might not always be that. Sometimes with Pluto, because of the secretive and hidden element, this is what's needing to be expressed. Sometimes this can be exposing this kind of stuff, like secretive and hiddenness. Sometimes it can be like that coming out. Or sometimes it can be more how it's, what's being expressed is being expressed in a more secretive or hidden way. It's also death and rebirth. Usually this is, the metaphorical kind of death and rebirth. Usually the rebirth is always going to be more metaphorical, but sometimes it is actual physical death too, or death of something. But more often than not, I do read it as death and rebirth in the metaphorical sense. Destruction can definitely be destruction. It's also purging and letting things go. And Pluto does let things go, but it also holds on to things like fucking crazy. So it knows it needs to let things go. It's like Scorpio energy in this way. It knows it needs to let things go, but it has a very hard time doing that. But when it does purge, when it is able to purge, it's amazing. Like it's a really good thing. Pluto can purge better than almost any of the planets. And evolution. I mean, even from like an EA lens, right? Or evolutionary astrology lens, we'd be saying, Pluto deals with evolution. But also, in a more mundane way, Pluto can deal with genetic things, which also ties into evolution as well, right? Like in the mundane sense of evolution. So yeah, those are things that Pluto wants to express, needs to express, does express, whatever. And transformation as well, which kind of goes into death and rebirth. Aquarius energy will express itself. It'll express itself in, humanitarian ways, in more social ways. Aquarius energy can be focused on the group. And there's nothing wrong with being focused on the group. There's nothing wrong with that because Aquarius is so humanitarian. There's nothing wrong with that. I think something though with Aquarius energy, don't get me wrong, I love Aquarius energy. I absolutely love Aquarius energy. But sometimes what Aquarius energy can do is it can kind of, at the higher vibration of Aquarius energy, it's very inclusive of everybody, regardless of what group the person might be a part of. what group they might align with. Aquarius energy kind of can umbrella everyone, regardless of differences or whatever, and everyone is welcome. The lower vibration of Aquarius energy can do this thing where it's like they have their group, they have their team, they have their whatever, and fuck everybody else. Being detached from everybody else. Aquarius is also detachment. It's also a detached sign, and this can kind of happen that way. That needs to be. I think I bring that particularly up because I think that needs to be watched for. While Pluto is in Aquarius, I think it does, because at a lower, I mean, we've already seen this a little bit. I mean, things are very, very, very divided, different teams, different groups and things, thinking that they're right and everybody else is fucking wrong. We need to watch the power in this, because at a lower vibration, I think this could get worse under this particular long transit. It could. At the same time, though, I think if we start acting right, and and I mean that collectively, everybody starts acting right and kind of being more accepting. And this is it has to come from both teams, both sides, or all teams, all sides, being able to be like, I know you're different than me, whatever, I still accept you as a human. I think this probably does need to happen under this transit. I really think that it can, because I hope it goes this way, where we see the power, we collectively see the power in this, like, and coming together that way, even if we're different, even if we bat for different teams. We see that we can come together, and we are more powerful together than we are apart. Yeah, I hope it goes that way. But the way things are right now, it kind of feels like it's going to go more in the way of the power in my group, not my group, but in my group or their group, us and them or whatever. We do need to watch that though, because I like these energies, they can go in a positive or a negative, an easy or a challenging direction. And since it's so, this is a long transit, I have not looked at all of the things that, all of the different charts that I could look at for this, but this does seem like a big theme, and it's already going on right now, definitely here in the US. It actually makes me kind of concerned, because next year we have an election in 2024, and like, oh fuck. I don't know. I do think about that, and I think about I don't know. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so Aquarius is also like, it's also like technology and future focused and progressive, and all of these kinds of things. And I think under this transit, these years that Pluto is in Aquarius, I think that, well, I mean, obviously, I think there will be a bunch of technological advancements. Absolutely. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius, anybody that's watched these for a while does know that I love to bring history into this, because we do see echoes from things throughout history when a planet transits into a sign. It is interesting to look back at the last time it was in that sign, and even more times before that, like to give it, while it will not manifest in the exact same way, there might be echoes or themes that do come back up. And the last time that Pluto was in Aquarius, this was from like 1777 through 1797, I believe. I might have those dates a little bit fucked, but around then. And the Industrial Revolution was going on at this particular time. The Industrial Revolution, I think, went on from, I think they say from like 1760 to like 1840. I could also have those a little fucked, but it's probably pretty close. So a lot of advancements in terms of how we fucking live. This changed the way that people lived. And I do think that under Pluto and Aquarius, there could be like a technological revolution and all the power that can be found through this. Now, there are good things and not so good things about this. Like, I'll be honest, AI kind of creeps me out a little bit. A little bit. I think there are cool things with it for sure. Like, I've got friends that fuck around with like Mid-Journey, like with the art stuff, and I think that's fucking awesome. I think it's really cool. That fucking chat thing that'll like create stories for you. I don't even know what the fuck that thing's called, but that thing, I think it's interesting, but it is kind of spooky. There is something kind of spooky about it. Because I do think that if we're not careful, we are not careful with technology, or if we don't really see the power in technology and the way these things are going, we could kind of make ourselves irrelevant. We could make humans irrelevant. I don't know. Maybe that's by design. Maybe that is supposed to happen. I don't know. I don't know. But it does kind of freak me out a little bit to think about that. So I think we kind of need to all collectively need to see what the power in technology actually is, what power is there, and kind of decide collectively if we like that or not. Does it move us forward into the future, or does it completely cause us to no longer be necessary? I don't know. Again, things can go in a easy or a challenging direction. This is kind of where my mind goes, though, with this, especially, and I think in the next couple of, like, this year and in 2024, I think there's gonna, since Pluto hasn't totally settled into Aquarius, I actually feel like if we wanted to try to change that ball, the way that ball is rolling, this might be the time to do it. Just because it won't have settled into Aquarius yet. Pluto will not have settled into Aquarius yet. But I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, can the ball even be stopped? Can it even be stopped at this point? Or can it even be not stopped? Because, I mean, obviously progress needs to happen. Change needs to happen. We need to move into the future. But we just want to make sure that we do it in a way that's controlled. or where we don't completely make ourselves irrelevant, or cause ourselves more problems. I'm gonna jump off here for now because this got kind of long, but I will probably do another one of these because there are other things that I wanted to touch on with this. If you want to find me for a reading or whatever, you can find my information in the description box below. And I will see all of y'all later.